It's the Feature Crew with Jacob Braunschweiger, Chris Oslin, Dylan Hallew. And now, here's the Feature Crew.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Feature Crew Live. Not the most exciting week in terms of announcements, but there's definitely been a lot flying around in the AI news world. And we have some live build planned as usual. So we've got an exciting show coming up. How you doing, boys?
Pretty good. Drama-filled week.
Definitely drama. Across the board, right? I think it's like pretty much every company had their own drama this week.
Absolutely. I think if we wanted to start with the spicy tweets like we always do.
Yeah. Run through some of those.
Let's take a look.
I'm sorry, I literally have the entire police force outside my window. So apologies if I stay on mute.
Coming for your GPUs.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, starting off with the top. Anybody who's been sitting on X or Twitter has seen a few things happen. So XAI poached Cursor's head of product engineering and a senior leader. So sort of continuing this trend of not even acqui-hiring anymore, but stripping startups of leadership, like stripping them for parts, basically. And so this, I don't know if it was a massive surprise in the channel, right? Cursor's kind of had their time in the sun, and now they've been heavily competed against by Claude Code. There's a lot of pressure in the space. And as Jacob always reminds us, I'm sure he's about to tell me, what's the moat, right? You're a VS Code fork. You don't own the model. So you're getting pushed at both ends, right?
Yep.
I mean, I think that's partly why this was surprising to me. I don't know what Grok Code offers Grok now. Do you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, but it was hires, not buying the company.
Yeah. But what I'm saying is, like, what is that actually their strategy, or are they just like using him to like build something else? Because like making it see like their own like text editor now seems like a very strange play when everyone's kind of moving towards the hey, like put everything in a chat, and like CLI is kind of hot at the moment for coding agents, but there's also kind of moving towards like have agents that like run a long time. Like being in an IDE seems like limiting now when everything is getting generally so much better.
Yeah, I definitely don't read hiring somebody from Cursor as we're going to rebuild Cursor.
Yeah, okay, good. I'm focusing on the tweet where it says Grok Code incoming, and I was like, wait, like,
yeah, that's just speculation on the random poster's account. But yeah, no, I think, well, that leads to the second tweet of Elon Musk saying XAI was not built right the first time around, so it is being rebuilt from the foundation up. Same thing happened with Tesla. And I think there was a further tweet saying like, hey, I apologize that we skipped over some of the best candidates and how fast we went and things like that. So to your point, Dylan, they do seem to be rebuilding the core brain of XAI from the ground up. Cursor's a weird hire for that. They don't have any experience really building models beyond their internal agent, which was never really competitive, but they would be a team to have the interface layer. So I don't know if that means you're going to get Grok Code to be more of a Claude Code compete. I could see the hire for that. I don't quite know who at XAI I would bet on to create a Claude or GPT competing model.
Yeah, I don't.
Yeah, I mean, for me, the reason that it's difficult is because we're like, I was talking about this offline with Dylan, where we're sort of in the flywheel era now.
Yeah, right.
And so Grok was able to XAI was able to quite impressively bootstrap the first Grok. It wasn't so far behind Frontier when it came out, and people were impressed with that. And the reason is because we were still in like massive pre-training on the internet days. So the internet was out there for everybody, and it was just like can you get a large enough cluster to train on? Like there's obviously more to it than that, but that was like the main blocker.
And Elon did move heaven and earth to get massive data centers built very, very quickly.
Because that was the meta and he knew it, and that's what he excels at. Now we've now moved into what I would call like the flywheel era, which is a lot of a lot of the capabilities of the next model is coming from the last model, right?
Yeah.
Right.
And so, it seems like frontier and non-frontier is going to diverge more and more.
Yep.
So no, it's a problem for Meta as well, a bigger problem for Meta than it is.
And it does
Grok.
seem like, hey, those $100 million hires were worth it. Like there just seems to have been, it wasn't just scale. There was some secret sauce to how exactly you babysat these models and how you structured training and post-training and mid-training and all the trainings.
And all the trainings.
Created a divergent outcome.
Well,
I'm
so
super
I think we'll
curious
talk a
to
little
see
bit
how
about
they
Meta.
bootstrap the new one. Yeah, we'll talk about Meta in a second,
Yeah,
but I'm
okay.
super curious how they bootstrap the next model, right? Like, what would you do? Would you go take one of the open source models that are effectively distillations of Anthropic or OpenAI, but hey, they exist, they're out there. Do you take those and just run forward? I think I saw someone propose that on X. One of the AI commentators was like, "Oh, I would just go take Kimi 2.5 and crank it."
So then at worst you're like, or at best you're like competitive with Kimi 3.
Right. I mean, you
It's
have to
tough.
believe somehow you have people on your team that are cracked, but do you?
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah, are you like out teaming Kimi, and is that going to make up for any lead that they have training on their own model? I don't know.
Yeah.
I think that the most significant thing here with the poaching that we were discussing, what is that, there's been a lot of talk on Twitter. I don't know if we have any of the tweets pulled up. We probably shouldn't, because a lot of them are slop. But this idea that, it seems like Twitter has decided in the it seems like Twitter's decided in the last week or two that Cursor is suddenly dead, which like they still have a lot of usage.
Yeah, for sure.
Like they still have a lot of revenue.
I'll be not cool. I still use Cursor.
But we've been talking for a long time about how like it is like, what's your moat?
Right.
Like since the day Cursor came into being, it was like, what's your moat? And early on, it was like marketing was their moat, and like vibes. And like maybe being able to move quickly on certain features, but then other offerings would have them within like a week, and then other offerings would have features they didn't have, and then they would have it within a week. So it's hard to say features were the moat.
Well, do you guys think there's a little meta story here too of AI has expanded beyond the hobbyist, right? Because Cursor felt very, very meta when people were just experimenting, vibe coding, doing their own thing, and then Claude Code sort of was also there, but it hadn't really taken off. And then all of a sudden, Claude Code starts crushing it in enterprise. And now all of a sudden, the expectations, the tooling, like all the things start to up level. And when you start to go to enterprise, those moats start to matter. GitHub starts to be a really strong competitor because you're like, hey, I got to be in my enterprise enclave. I got to deal with company data. I got to make sure things are put in the right place. And there's just not a good way in for that if you're Cursor. Especially if you're trying to train on what I'm doing, especially if you're trying to evolve your little agent based on what I'm doing, it starts to get real squirrely in a way that Anthropic and GitHub and these places can afford to not do that, right? They're like, that's fine. We don't need to.
The other part of that conversation is how much can you subsidize? Like,
yeah, right. Oh, yeah.
There were, Cursor was actually, I think it was Cursor. Somebody who worked at Cursor. Something was talking about how like they subsidize consumer subscriptions. Like you can easily burn on a $20 Cursor subscription. You can easily burn on the order of hundreds of dollars of compute. In a month. And then, but they're having trouble keeping up with like the labs who are like an order of magnitude larger subsidy, right? You can burn thousands of dollars of compute. Something, if you're using it every day. Or like $100 sub. And so it's going to be difficult for any company without just like significantly deep pockets to make it as an agent. It seems like we're in like the Rockefeller bleed your competitors dry era of agents.
Yeah. Well, and speaking of competitors kind of falling off the board, Dylan hinted at it earlier, but our next tweet here is Meta continuing to spiral on their models, right? Meta's delayed the release of Avocado till at least May after it underperformed on internal evals. According to a report by the New York Times, they're considering licensing Gemini from Google as a temporary solution. So a few levels here. One is Meta can't get their act together on this. they've made some weird moves, like hiring Alexander Wang and Scale AI didn't make a lot of sense. That's like hiring the head of Amazon Mechanical Turk to remake AWS. Like it just didn't make sense to me. But they tried it, and now I'm going to cut to Jacob real quick here because another major company has chosen Gemini. Oddly enough, Gemini, of all the major labs to bet their horse on. That's Apple, that's Meta now.
Allegedly. I've been a Gemini hater for a while. Not
I wanted converted to being a Gemini hater this week.
And I want it to be great. I want Gemini to be great, and I expect more from Google. But there are a couple of like what Dylan and I were talking about this week was how just embarrassing the dev story is for Gemini. God. So Dylan, do you want to take that for a second and complain about it?
The API today. I had a fresh API key. It's still like adding a new billing took 24 hours for projects to be graduated to even be able to use billing. And when I can finally do it, I'm like, okay, let's use Gemini 2.5 Pro. Like, I think this is like the latest release, right? For like the big flagship, if I'm not mistaken, like in March. And it just 503. It said, too much usage. The model's not working. You can try again later and it'll probably work. I was like, are you kidding me right now? Like, this is an API key. I could kind of get it if it's on like a chat client when you're like, oh, well, I was chatting and then I kind of ran out of usage. But imagine you're a developer, depending on this for actually like working a workflow. Yeah. I would expect them to like prioritize the API first. Maybe they're doing it the other way. Like, we assume they would have a good dev story because you want to build a marketplace. They might be taking it from the angle of, let's build a like kick-ass chat and whatever's in Google search so that people will keep clicking Gemini and we get mail like that. But that kind of just seems like short-sighted.
Well, keep me honest here, Google's famous for having good dev stories, right?
Yeah, Firebase is awesome.
Yeah. Maps API, like back in the day, everybody was using that for all of their maps internally. Like,
right.
I assume AdSense, I never used it, but I assume AdSense, at least as like an API, was good because it was like everywhere.
Google Analytics is awesome. Yeah, they have a history of being great for developers, and this is why I'm so disappointed. Like, in a lot of ways, I'm a GCP developer. I'm a big Firebase user, and over time, I've like strayed more into GCP as I like need more control over things, and so a lot of parts of the platform are awesome. But there are a bunch of a bunch of little anecdotes from me and others that are like, wow, this is actually embarrassing. Like the one that was going crazy on Twitter over the last couple of weeks was like, you can't set spend limits. You just like can't do it. No.
They'll notify you. They'll say, hey, you went over your number.
Right. And everybody else has notifications and limits.
I'm starting to see they said experimental. Oh, we might be able to block it, but it might run over like it's literally like a beta tag. Like, I don't know if that was just recent because I just saw it come up. But
have you been looking at your usage? Like, I built this prototype that used Nano Banana to generate images, and it is not real time. Like, you go to OpenAI or Anthropic, you could see like real time updates. I use it to bug test my code sometimes. Like, oh, cool, the API is getting hit. I'm seeing it go up. Google's like, bro, you better refresh the page, go get a coffee, and maybe you'll see something, right? It's crazy. I'm like,
yeah.
Aren't you guys the fast page load company? Wasn't that what you do?
Yeah, and just like to rant for a second on Google, it's like their inference story is awful, right? It's sort of like a walled Gemini garden, compared to Amazon and AWS and Azure, the ability to use other models, the ability to have a model marketplace. It's like they're far, far behind. Basically, they're just trying to funnel everybody into Gemini, which is, with the exception of like a couple weeks here and there, has never been the best model. Then there is this whole issue of like, even their Gemini developer story isn't consistent. They have Vertex AI, they have the Google AI Studio. Keys from one don't always work in the other, and it's different key management system, and like they haven't fully merged in like DeepMind's infrastructure and GCP's infrastructure. So that's a problem. Then there is like just a personal anecdote. They don't have a batch API. Like, they don't have a UI for their batch API and other APIs, but that's the one that I cared about. So it's like, if you want to run batches and test your product, and like, and their competitors have full like eval products, and they don't even have the ability to look at your batches that you're running in a UI. And yeah, I could just go on and on about how bad this is. And like, this is to the point where I, as somebody who's been like for a decade plus a GCP dev, is doing all my inference through Azure. And while I still am hosting a bunch of other stuff on GCP, it's like I'm dealing with like two different clouds because the story is so bad, and it makes me want to move everything else to Azure.
Yeah.
Well, and
like, it makes me want to abandon GCP completely. This is like unbelievable.
So given all these paper cuts that exist in the product. I'm curious why Apple and Meta are going with them. And does that go back to our conversation of subsidizing? Is Google just sitting there saying like, we're prepared to take a 5-year loss on your token spend, and like we will give you just a massive discount for using us, and so be it.
Could be that. It could also be how much they're willing, with any partnership, right? It's like how much are you willing to like bend to our will? So if Apple says like, oh, we actually need you to build a bunch of stuff to support what we want, maybe Gemini saying, okay, we'll build it, and OpenAI and Anthropic are like, no, we're building what we're building. You want to use our APIs or not, right?
Yeah.
So it could be something like that. It could be just like the normie name brand recognition of Google. It could be many things. But it is confusing to me beyond this whole like developer story thing we're complaining about, because that kind of is solved if you've got this like direct partnership and you can ask for things. But like, for me, it's the fact that like these big companies keep partnering with Gemini, and like I was saying before, although Gemini models have been great at certain things over time, and like they're certainly not lagging as far behind as something like Meta or even XAI. It's just like they're not really in that same. They always feel like a half step behind OpenAI and Anthropic. 100%. And in some ways that are hard to tell, right? Like I see Gemini benchmark maxing way more than the other, than the main labs, and they've really struggled to get like agents that can really stay coherent for long tasks, whatever long means in any given time period, right? Like when it was like the early agent days, and it was like just get it to like run for a couple of minutes. The Gemini models like couldn't be an agent at all, and now that we're seeing like OpenAI and Anthropic models run for hours, I've struggled to see Gemini do anything similar. They're on top of this, they're the anti-gravity product. Like in the times I've used it, it's been a nightmare. Like there's all these special rules if you're on a like G Suite account versus like a normal consumer account. Like you can't use it on a G Suite account. It's insane.
Wait,
but they don't tell you.
You can't use anti-gravity on a G Suite account?
So remember when we tried to test it on the stream and it wouldn't work? It was because I was on G Suite account. I don't know if they've changed it since, but it fails silently, so it doesn't even tell you you're on a G Suite account and you can't use this. It just sits there and loads forever. And then I looked it up and they were like, yeah, you're on a G Suite account. You really thought you were going to be able to use this? But then I've heard and then when I use it on a personal account, and then I've heard from other people, it seems like broken and it doesn't really work. Like it didn't really work for me. I didn't give it that much of a try because I got so frustrated with the whole thing. But I've seen other people say on Twitter that it wasn't working super well for them.
Wow.
Yeah, Chris, you really got me started here. I just feel like I'm very let down. I'm very let down because I've invested a lot into like the Google ecosystem over time.
Well, I think we should talk about the other side of Meta. Like, where are they at? What's going on? And I made my joke about hiring
they're done
the Mechanical Turk head, but that's really what Scale AI was, as far as I could tell. Right? They were getting training data in the sense that they were putting out surveys and tests for people and aggregating the results, but the quality was pretty bad. And
they were helping with evals. They were like, their whole value was like, oh, like we know how to like do this. So like the labs like built the capability internally to just do AI things, whether it's train models or make products, do any of that. And Scale AI's whole idea, which is a smart business model, as like you've seen, it takes incumbents a long time to figure out new stuff. It's like, hey, actually, you can hire us to help you figure out new stuff. I think the problem was that Scale AI was very much built around, like, they were built during that, pre-training era that we were talking about, that like pre-train on the whole internet era. And then by the time this new era came around, like they were kind of an incumbent in a way. And so I don't know how much they were able to help with this new world. Perfect time for an exit, though. I'll tell you that.
Well, and synthetic training data came around, and all of a sudden you're like, well, how much do we need, you guys? What's the answer here?
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Like Meta in general trying to target like super intelligence in itself is like, it just feels kind of like arrogant in a sense, when they're like, instead of being like all the other like players are like talking about it like directionally, but they're not like super intelligence is coming this year, and then they can't like release avocado. Right, like it's that.
Yeah, and then if you just like go back a little bit, it was like, they were big talk about Llama 4, alleged fraud.
Yeah,
like it wasn't just benchmark maxing; it was like alleged fraud. Like not the same model tested on benchmarks as the one they were serving, as opposed to
well, they had this internal split
base model
because you got LeCun saying that LLMs aren't real and don't have world models and can't think, and like
who cares?
You see a few of these, right? Yeah, exactly. Where that like the Frontier Labs are making the right call, which is the current process may or may not get us to ASI, but it sure as hell will get us closer to have this massive user base, massive amount of information, all of the learning, all of the experience. Yep. And even if we have to build a different architecture in parallel, we will have a lot more context to do that instead of like, hey, just keep dumping more money in the black pit that is a research lab and hope to God. You're going to see some of that. I mean, that's what some of these startups are, is we're going 0 to ASI. We're not going to stop anywhere in between. But that's like
if you're like a
argument.
research lab, yeah, exactly. Right. Like if you're a researcher and you're like, I have this interesting take, whereas Meta just seems to be like, we're going to have 100 billion and like, we hired the right people, guys. It's going to work. I'm like,
yeah, it's just so hard to do this at a Fortune, 10 company where you're like, you're quarter to quarter, you got to show gains, right? You got to be showing gains.
Yeah. So that's why I'm like, okay, guys, it's just such a different like thing. So I don't know. It'll be interesting to see what they release this year. Like if they start releasing models and then like not half bad, great. It'd be great for them to be a competitor. But like, it just looks like they kind of cooked. So, we'll see. Like I'm just very excited to see whatever the next release is, because like what was their last model? Llama 4?
Yeah, and their last model anybody used was Llama 3.
Right.
So
I'm like, well, yeah, it'd just be.
It's been. I think it's been over a year since Llama 4, or just about. And Llama 3 was like what, 2 years ago? I mean, yeah, they're done. I mean, and you know what you were saying? Like, I would love for them to be a real competitor. I generally love competition, but like, there's just like personal aspect for me. I'm like. Yeah, after the whole meta switch and then this whole metaverse thing that they failed to execute on, and then the AI thing that they succeeded for like 2 months on execute. I'm exaggerating. I do think Llama 3 was a win. Llama 2 and 3 were good and were like a major part of the discussion for where the industry was going, but they weren't able to keep up. And it was like there were structural issues with their strategy. And so I just like, I don't know. It might be time for Meta to go.
Well, they're taking it sort of on both ends of their business model, right? So future AI business model collapsing right now. They got to figure out their path. And then TikTok continues to just dominate the usage charts, right? Like social media is TikTok, and they've had to try to fight hard to compete with that, right? Because historically they would acquire the up and comer, and then they couldn't acquire TikTok, and that was it. So your overall share of the pie of social media is shrinking. And the thing that was supposed to get you out of that is not going well. So it's a hard time at Meta, right? And then you had your massive VR spend, and you just couldn't find a product market fit there to make a scaled business. It's still kind of just a hobbyist. It's like the Peloton market or something, right? Like it's just this corner of the world that really cares about this hardware, myself included. I like VR.
Oh, but I have a Quest right over here. Like, it's awesome. It's an awesome device. It's just not clearly in like massive demand. Then you've got like those like glasses, the Ray-Ban glasses sold.
Those have had some success, right? They've sold a bunch of units of those.
But it's just like the question remains, like when you're talking about Meta being in the Mag 7, it's like you need massive growth. So like if you're saying, okay, well, we're gonna get a bunch of the compute growth, like the bottom layer growth that is like the most valuable via the glasses, like okay, there's a question of like, what does this actually mean that it's like the next consumer form factor, and like how many people are going to be walking around with AR glasses? I think it's like a reasonable question. But even if it's a lot of people, it pales in comparison to the compute demand driven by agents in the cloud. Yeah. And so the fact that there's no Meta Cloud as a platform that developers build on, that others use, that they're not hosting a significant amount of inference, is like, okay, so you're going to kind of miss out on the massive growth there. Then on the ad business model, as Chris was saying, you're limited to just like eyeball time. You're limited to amount of humans. And so then what they do, and like, have you seen this, where it's like, oh yeah, well, all of our exciting initiatives are failing. We're walking back from the metaverse. We can't release a new Llama model, but somehow like revenue's going up. And then you'll hear people on, at least I have anecdotally heard my friends be like, I've never seen this many ads on Instagram. And it's like, how long can you bleed out just turning the ad dial up before it's like,
right.
Yeah. Yep. I mean, that's why I'm like, why is I need to go check the latest like stock price. But like Wall Street still loves Meta. And as you say, they're still Mag 7. It's just so confusing, right? Because I agree with all you just said. Like that paints a very different picture to what the market sees. Yeah. So
anyways. And then I just wanted to welcome back Dewey's back. He said yo in chat. Welcome back. Also mentioned that they've been making decent money off of selling short call spreads on Meta stock. Zuckerberg is rudderless right now. Meta seems to be spiraling. Completely agree.
Absolutely.
And it's been a while. Frankly, they've been spiraling since like COVID.
Yeah.
Ever since you started doing jiu-jitsu, it all went downhill.
Yeah, because it's like, yeah, honestly, like Chris, you were saying they're struggling with TikTok, which they are, but Reels is probably the most successful thing they've done since then, right? Yeah. Threads was just like an abject failure, as was the metaverse, as is Llama now.
Well, Threads, they goosed the numbers hard because they started embedding Threads conversations in Instagram. So they started to say, like, look at our sessions, they're so big. And you're like, how many of these are from the native Threads experience? Well, let's not talk about that. That's
honestly, like, and they do the same thing with the Meta AI numbers, right? Where they consider, they'll do like AI results.
Every search on Facebook.
Every search on Instagram, Facebook, any of their platforms with like whatever it is, multi-billion user platform in total, any search counts as like AI usage. And Google is doing the same thing.
Every messenger chat now seems to have Meta AI on the right.
But nobody's paying for that usage. That's the thing. It's like, and so it's, and frankly, on the, like, if you ever catch me like out in public going like, hey, Meta, like, what is that in front of me? Just like take me out back. It's like, it's a.
What's the story behind the statue? I know there's a plaque in front of me that would explain it, but I want you to.
To me, Meta AI is the real version of like, at Grok, is this true?
Yeah, it's the IRL version.
Yeah,
I think that's fair. No, and I also just wonder, I think buried in what you were saying was a sort of implicit thought, I think, was the growth in AI for the next year is probably enterprise. And you could foresee enterprise burning more token per person than consumer, right? Like even just per seat, right? Like absolutely. I know companies will burn more than an individual, but a per seat at an enterprise,
100%.
You could foresee absolutely like order of magnitude more usage for enterprise users.
In this, and then that fits
in business users, let's say. Yeah.
In terms of like information tools, like any information worker, their company's burning more on them in tools than they are burning on tools for themselves, right? Like even if you include subscription services, your company's burning way more on you for software. If you just look at software in general, your company's burning way more on you. It's software that you're burning for yourself, unless if you're like us.
I
think a large part of that.
Even then,
I see a problems. Yeah. Well, even then, if you think about like every meeting note is now getting AI transcribed and summarized. Dude,
I think that like reasoning it out, the big thing is enterprise has like your data, and your data is like enterprise data is less like personal, private.
Yes.
Right. We haven't solved the problem of how do I get like the informal conversations you're having in a coffee shop for me to follow up with. Like,
no, we have friend, dude.
Yeah, exactly. So what I'm saying is like we haven't solved that story yet for consumer.
Right.
And until they solve that or make like really good software changes, that's where like again Apple could be a real fighter here. But they kind of also seem a little bit dead in the water where it's like, hey, like, we figured out like you needed to like run this errand and like I scheduled it or I just did it for you. Like, wow, that's so cool. Like, because I think in the Twitterverse and enterprise, I agree it's going to be the growth engine this year, but it's very different to what consumers are going to want. Like when you're on Twitter, they're like, I'm building a SaaS and, I made this thing. And other people are just like, I wanted to plan a birthday party and calling someone is really stressful. And I appreciate that this like, mythical assistant did it for me. Like that's probably going to be what the average person wants it for. Not for being also, like, you go.
I would argue you don't need this ubiquitous data capture. Like there are people in your life who know you well enough to be like an incredible assistant or like and they're not there for every conversation you have. Like you know what I mean?
But I more mean like at the current like runtime and stuff, that extra data is making it way easier than having it actually like plan. Like I think the thing you're getting to is like humans are so good at kind of extrapolating and picking up on the signal, and there's no reason why AI can't do that. I think it's just prohibitively expensive. You can see it with like Claude right? People use it more and they're like, holy shit, it burned a lot of tokens to do nothing. And it's like, like, because like humans are really good at that, but we can just be processing and then we're like, time to go do that thing I've been thinking for like a week. And it's like, that's free for us, not free for AI. So they'll figure that out.
To expand on your point with the enterprise setting, it's like, yes, I don't assume my work data is private. I assume the company can see every message I send, every call I have on company materials.
Yeah.
And there's a lot more trackable data, right? I have meeting notes. I got recorded meetings that can be transcribed. I got all of these pieces. I got email. I got Teams messages or Slack messages. So that's huge, right? I have that piece. I have information flow is a lot bigger part of my job at work, right? So you're like, oh, I got to get this information to this person. There's these requests. There's this summarization. I'm not getting the same deluge in my daily life, in my just personal life, that you do in a work setting where it's like, okay, wow, I got to answer where this document is for this person. So there's a lot of these moments where that awareness matters, and it can have an awareness to the company. The other part is enterprises are less siloed than consumers. Like my data is split across like 8 companies that all hate each other and want to fight each other.
Yeah.
But at work, you're in whatever your big software stack is. If you're a Microsoft company, you have your SharePoint and your Teams, and you're working on that. If you're Google, your Google Workspace, and all, like you have these big buckets that can be reasoned over easily in a way that you can't in your consumer life. Like, and I want my AI to be able to see my Netflix recommendations. I want it to be able to see what I viewed on Twitter and talk about that. I want it to see this, but I also care about my privacy, and that's a hard tension that's not going to get solved quick.
Right, and for consumer, they like, you know, it's advantageous for the companies to wall it off, and even in enterprise, it goes both ways. Like, even though you're mostly in Microsoft, you have these other tools, and then Microsoft has this like super permissive API, as long as your admin is enabling it, because Microsoft wants to be the main home. And then the other way is true, where like Slack opens up their APIs because like you need to if you're going to be a useful enterprise product. Like, you need to give the company, your customer, the freedom, because otherwise they're going to go with somebody else. Whereas that's not the case for consumers. And there's this like built-in incentive to wall stuff off. Like, look at Apple.
All of this just paints how
Netflix
loud it's going to be. Like, honestly, like, and part of this could just be an enterprise. We're so like more willing to accept that. But just think of like the level of speed in which your job changes, in which your, you know, the things that were drudgery changes. When that comes to your consumer life, like your like personal life, it's going to be insane. Like, hopefully. It feels like things are accelerating. Like, I know personally at work, everyone's like, whoa. And I feel like a lot of people like TikTok and stuff, there's like a lot of doom and gloom there, but like it is like a whoa. So,
well, Tech Twitter has this expectation that like literally the AI alien must come down tomorrow and must have full like matter generation ability. Like, if I don't get the holodeck by noon, AI's over. It's all fake. And
no, I mean, it's already here. You just don't even get it because you don't have 12 Mac Minis wired up in a server.
Yeah,
you're right. You're right.
You don't have a company of Claude bots like Jason Calcanis does. So, anyways, Dweeb chat says
he's so present in the Fortune 10, right? Oh wait, no. Wait a minute.
The Fortune 10 might be present in him. Anyways, Dewey says Meta Glasses docks this person standing in front of me real quick. I like that. That was good. Docks him.
It was like the trailer or the demo for the game Watch Dogs. The game didn't end up being nearly that good, but the demo was great.
Wait, are you saying Ubisoft made a game where the trailer was better than the game? I don't believe
you. Yes. Yes.
Dude, I'm so sad that like that's not going to be like, that'll be a deep cut in the next couple of years. Like,
it's already a deep cut.
Yeah, well, once Ubisoft is gone, it'll be a deep cut. Is that what you're saying?
That's what I'm saying. I'm like, Ubisoft is gonna die, dude. Like, it's done.
They should honestly, long ago, they should have gone to making movies. They'd be better at it.
Ooh, you're so right. Assassin's Creed TV series.
They did.
That would have done them.
No, they sold. Somebody made it. It wasn't them.
Yeah.
But if they had made an animated Assassin's Creed movie, I think it would have been fire. Like, whoever makes those trailers, if that person had made the movie, would have been fucking awesome.
Oh, okay. I see. I thought you meant like an anime style. I was like, really?
Of course.
Because I think prior to that, the accepted wisdom in Hollywood was these movies didn't sell. Because you had like the Final Fantasy one, and that didn't do the numbers they wanted. But then Love, Death, Robots, and what is it, Next Level, or what's the Amazon one?
I thought Love, Death,
they had a series where it was all based on games. Yeah.
I don't know.
No, I mean, games have done well. I mean, there's The Last of Us, The Witcher.
Then Minecraft, right? Crushed it out of the park.
Minecraft crushed it, but it wasn't like winning Oscars. But like The Last of Us
didn't matter. As far as Hollywood's concerned, that's more important. The money.
Yeah, fair. But you've got both. You can do like blockbuster commercial success. You can also do like artsy Emmy success. Like, so okay, like I think the the days of.
But I think my point was fully rendered. Like the fully rendered cutscene aesthetic was seen as not viable, and now it is.
I think that was just too. I think that was just
too early, I guess.
And it was two stigmas layered on top of each other. It was the stigma against animated, which still kind of exists to a certain extent, but you'll see things like Into the Spider-Verse being like, oh wow, this is actually incredible. And then you've got the other side of it, which is like the stigma against games, and you've got like Witcher and Last of Us that came and said, no, you can actually do this. And so put them together, man.
Company Blizzard. Do you remember how good those cinematics were?
They're so good.
Like,
oh yeah,
Blizzard cinematics,
those guys
cracked. Yep,
they were cracked. Right, I feel like they kind of carried Blizzard for a bit. If they had movies like fully animated,
yeah, they got the butt jiggle just right. I knew Chris would like.
We're in the first half of the stream.
Yeah, I'm in the second half of my second drink. So
that's great.
There goes
we got some more tweets, and then I can flip over to other news as well.
Yeah, go for it. I had some stuff on Replit, but I think
who cares about Replit? No, I'm sorry. I'm all in this mood. But I do think Replit, just for me, aligns with I think what we were saying about Cursor. Except Replit has like a slight more of a moat because like they have their REPL technology. But then it was.
I mean, I'm amazed that Squarespace is just going to let them rock their world. Like Replit's just coming.
Well, I mean, it's so fascinating. There's been lots of articles this week, like again, on this thread of like it becoming more real. Like New York Times and people are reporting about like, wow, coding is becoming natural language. It's the introverts, it's crazy. They're now having to talk to be able to work whatever and code. Like I think it's becoming more common knowledge that like, oh, like the important thing actually is like the rub is it's general, as Jacob always says. Like it's beyond this, but it's fascinating that there's all these stories and people are kind of waking up to it. They're like, you can just prompt things. That's crazy.
Yeah.
But that's still like fresh news to like mainstream. Like if anything, it's doing numbers. People are like, wow, that's crazy. Like I can share this with my parents.
I wanted to bring this one up for a more esoteric UI point, which is they're starting to figure out like if you're coming from a very normie audience that's non-technical, how do you start letting them prompt about adjustments? They've done experiments before back on the channel like years ago now, or a year and a half ago maybe. We had their sort of like you could highlight an element and talk about it. Well, it didn't work super well, but now they're expanding this to lay out your site in a canvas, be able to talk about these pieces, have this.
Is this Replit?
Surface. Yep, this is Replit's video.
So the screen's small for me.
Does
you see the same thing on the Lovable side. So they're kind of competing for a similar market now, I guess.
Of course, yeah.
And I did see it might be worth revisiting some of these products on the channel because they've changed so much since we reviewed like the early versions of them. Like I was hanging out with my cousin not so long ago, and he was using Lovable, and it's like they've really made it the sort of ChatGPT of software dev, right? Where it's like you don't need to know anything about what's going on behind the scenes.
So I find this like drawing to UI thing interesting. They sort of have the chat sitting above this panable Figma canvas.
Mm-hmm.
This is arguably much more the direction Figma should have gone in, by the way. But
thank you. Been saying this for a long time.
Absolutely.
Yeah, no, Figma Make was a very strange thing to do.
And he talks a bunch. I'm not going to have us watch the 8-minute video, but the point was there's this really cool evolution of the UI surface where they're trying to figure out how do I get someone to give precise instructions, feel free in the types of instructions they can give, and also represent a lot of stuff, right? You're representing a lot of interesting screens, and how do you help people get a mental model for that, especially if they're not technical? But speaking of technical,
let's get into
technical with ChatGPT.
Yeah, let's go. Yes.
Good transition.
We got a couple of other news stories to cover before we go into the build. So first of all, ChatGPT announced a way to essentially do like interactive charts on, I think it was certain core scenarios is what they called it.
Yeah, and to be fair, just as a caveat up front, I've like not been able to get this to happen yet.
Yeah. They said it rolled out, but this did some numbers this week where people are saying, oh, it's like widely used for learning. And this is true. Like ChatGPT chat is actually quite used like with younger folks.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's one thing we'll say with like Anthropic stuff. Outside of SF, Claude is like not that heavily used, particularly like it's certainly localized to America and then pretty localized to like, tech heavy states.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas ChatGPT is like a lot more ubiquitous. So adding something that's focused on learning is clearly an interesting direction. They've done it before with like the homework with the explain me mode. And hey, I mean, like these are allegedly what you get. It's like essentially just kind of like pre-baked interactive charts, which I think is like an interesting UX direction to like have this ready to go. And I like the idea of like strengthening learning. This is clearly posturing to be more like responsible with respect to like, hey, we want to teach people. We don't just want to like, erode their brain capacity. So I think this is generally like net positive. It's interesting that it was only for like X number of scenarios. What we just saw, like I think released today, was Claude supporting custom visuals in chat.
Yeah, I was
so they claim
this is cool.
that it's custom visuals and that, some few examples, they talk about, show me how this process works. Claude shows you a flow chart. Upload a CSV and ask, what does this data show? It generates an interactive chart and so on. So we'll probably test this on the channel. It might be an actual like worthwhile video because like that business reasoning and business like kind of understanding data is in one of our like pillars of testing. If I go, I think it's on the other page. There's an actual video showing it off. So if we kind of skim through, they're like, hey, like show someone sketching, visiting old buildings, put this in a built environment. It then kind of like pre-built, presumably code or whatever.
We should do the Herculaneum test with this.
Yeah. And then this is it like trying to do, I think, some kind of like physics question. It's about, the question was something about using structures class. How does weight actually travel through a building from the roof all the way to the ground? I need to see it visually. And then it will allegedly render some kind of diagram that shows you doing this. So
yeah, it'll be interesting to see how like what this actually means. Because like both Claude and ChatGPT have had versions of this in the past, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Where this one that's on screen right now looks a little bit more like the ChatGPT version, where it's like an interactive simulation with sliders. Some of the diagramming stuff, like you've been able to do in Claude for a long time, like it would just open it in Canvas, right? So it's like, what is this? Is this a marketing moment? Is this like they actually added some new text, or they're trying to push people towards these scenarios? Not sure.
Well, I hope it's better because you could do it, but it was very brittle.
Yeah, and even this, like this could just be like, executing code and like not like Mermaid, but you know what I mean? Like there might just be some.
Yeah, it might be Mermaid. I mean, yeah,
it could be Mermaid. But like I'm saying, they might have developed some kind of additional like prompting, which is just like make good code that renders well in chat, which is actually like pretty good for like the average user. They're going to be like, oh wow, like this is useful. We know how to say like go make this, and we can like render it.
Right. But ChatGPT has had like the
Canvas,
the sort of analyze mode and like make charts, like interactive charts for quite a long time. Like Anthropic stayed a little bit more general with Canvas, but still, it's like
We've had some comments in the chat, by the way. We have Dewey coming back with, I've used GPT 5.4 to create spreadsheets from PDF, and it completed it perfectly in 5 minutes. Impressed with the improvement so far. I'm a big stand for 5.4. I think 5.4 is the smartest model I've ever used by a pretty good
hefty margin. Yeah. I mean, Opus 4.6 is really good. Like there are a couple areas where I'm like Opus 4.6. Like I go back to it sometimes for certain things, but usually it's like it's not enough to make me reactivate my Anthropic subscription. Like I just go to the API for that because it's like infrequent enough. 5.4 is real good.
We got some more comments. Yas Patel, are you new, Yas? Welcome to the crew if you are.
Welcome, Yas.
AI can do well in web projects compared to mobile apps. Yeah, there's definitely a delta there, right? It's much better at making web products than mobile. I think that gap is closing, but I've certainly seen that too. I mean, at first, I remember trying GPT 4.0 on a Swift app, and that was rough. It didn't do Swift very well at the time. That was a hard slog.
Yeah, there's far less examples. It makes sense.
Yeah.
If
you think about the database they're looking through, and they could crawl every website.
Yeah,
I'd be so curious if that's part of the like Apple deal. Can we see more mobile apps? But I guess they don't own that, right? The developers own it, so.
Yeah, I guess.
Yas says that we're his top 3 in YouTube. That he's not new. Well, I think this is the first time we've seen you in chat. So thank you for joining, and also thank you for joining chat and talking to us.
Great to see you.
It's very hard to keep scaling with users and infrastructure for mobile apps compared to web. That's my opinion. Fair enough. Yeah. No, I think, I don't know if anybody else said anything there, but scaling infra for mobile. I'm curious what you mean by that. I'm curious if you're thinking the back end of that, or if you're just thinking, well, mobile apps are so hard because you got the different screen sizes, you got the different devices, you got the stores you got to play nice with. That was always my experience.
You definitely have fewer screen sizes on mobile, given that there's infinite on web. But
yeah, but you just sort of like to make mobile work, you want to run it natively on both platforms. You can just do like a React Native app, but
that's where we've moved. There's a lot of React Native out there. There's a lot of Chromium on desktop. Like web has taken over the world.
Yeah,
that's probably true.
My workflow is thinking in GPT 5.4 and work in Claude. That's a pretty common flow. I did something similar, though. I find 5.4 in Codex to be quite good. It is very literal of like, it'll do exactly what you tell it to do. And Claude can get a little ambitious, which is good and bad. Claude will sort of just start trying to fill in gaps for you.
Yeah, sometimes Claude does crazy shit. Like Anthropic talks so much about alignment, but then I do feel like Claude will just make its own choices, you know?
And there's been plenty of like tech Twitter memes about that, right? Like you'll ask it something that you see its reasoning and it's just like bad shit. And I feel like it's because people have known it to go crazy.
Right.
So when it was like, oh, he caught me. It was like, there's all these ones of like, oh, pick a color or pick a number. And then it's like, okay, I choose blue. It's like, I was actually thinking of blue. Let me switch. And they're like, Claude. Like, I'm pretty sure those are all like HTML edited. But there's like tons of, and there's a lot more unhinged ones. But
well, and then there was also the thing with like Anthropic making the update where they made thinking more transparent. Like instead of translating the thinking, they were like, okay, we'll just show what Claude's actually thinking. And then there were all these funny posts. And again, as Dylan was saying, hard to tell how many of these are real. But my favorite was like I'm being mogged by ChatGPT, but I must persist or something.
That must have been edited.
Oh God, please tell me Mog doesn't get the training data. Oh,
it already is. Okay, right, so let's continue on. Anthropic. So they're now investing 100 million into their Claude partner network. Really, the point here is that what we're talking about before, where they are like, we believe this to be like an enterprise year. Anthropic serves the need of businesses is basically the top line here, right? Like they are investing into making sure that their enterprise offerings are good. So they are trying to, say, hey, we're available everywhere. Please use us. And we can see that happening probably across the industry. So yeah, I mean, not really much more important thing. Just this is all data showing that trying to win enterprise this year and trying to gain growth from that is a big big strategy for most of these big providers.
Quick pause for chat. Yas asked if there's any thoughts on Dia browser, and I have like I had to actually look up Dia browser to see what it was. But I feel a lot about all these browsers, including like ChatGPT Atlas, like any of the main lab browsers or like whatever Perplexity Comet. It's just like I feel the same way I did about kind of Cursor, where like it might be fun, they might market it, but like I've not seen a reason to leave VS Code as an IDE, except for the fact that I don't look at code that much anymore, and I have not seen a reason to leave Chrome as a browser, except that I use ChatGPT for a lot of things. I might have gone to Google.
Yeah, I think that's the hard part. Is most people just aren't that unhappy with their browser. There's not a lot of unmet needs in their browser,
right? So
and
it's more like they get eaten, right? Like they get eaten as opposed to Dia
trended quite a bit on design Twitter as sort of like they were taking some stabs at some new layouts and interesting ways of interacting and being able to customize the web page. It struck me as very, very designery in that regard. Like if you are a deep aesthetic person and you want to make these weird tweaks, I just don't have time for it in my day. So I didn't have a lot of hope for it. And then browser company got acquired by Atlassian, if I'm remembering correctly. And so now I have no hope for it. Like I don't see Atlassian funding that for very long. They're in a very rough spot, as all of the SaaS providers are, for like, okay, what do we do in a world where Claude Code or 5.4 can replicate our entire software? Maybe not our back end, but certainly our front end, and probably the back end too. Certainly by the end of the year.
Beyond that, it's like the AI's like taking browser use cases, things I would have done in the browser before. I am now going to Claude or ChatGPT to do.
Yeah.
Not a browser. Like the browser timeshare in my life is shrinking.
Well, as you talk about how you don't look at code, like there's a meta question here of why didn't companies just go recreate the software they pay vendors for? And the answer was it was expensive. You had to take a bunch of your engineering talent, point them over here in this direction, and like there's liability and all this stuff.
Market the thing and distribute it.
It's a mess. Yeah. But now you're like, okay, do I just point 5 instances of Claude at it, and can they maintain it internally well enough for us?
Potentially, you don't have to market it. You're saying internal tools. Okay.
Right. You just make it an internal tool because the cost to make it is so low now that it just becomes, all right, great. It's just a token spend for the month. And now I don't need it. So I think that's part of you saw Adobe stock tank. You've seen a lot of these companies have problems. And I think that's because there's these internal conversations. And there aren't, like, I have no privileged access to Microsoft or anything. But if you just put yourself in the shoes of these companies, you go, well, hey, if I'm using the software a lot, I'm paying a lot in this license fee. Would it cost roughly the same amount in tokens just to recreate that surface, specifically the parts of the surface my business uses? Because if you've ever used an Adobe product, you're using 10% of it for your specific niche of what you're doing. I think that's going to start to be a real weird trade-off in the years ahead.
Mm-hmm.
Totally.
Dia AI, what AI is under the hood of Dia? Any guesses? Claude? Claude's a good guess. I mean, it's probably, if it's any good, it's Claude or OpenAI. Otherwise, they use an open source model, and it won't be very good. Hot take. I know I'm going to get comments for that one.
And then next thing, also out of Anthropic, is the Anthropic Institute. That's all about just responsible AI, basically. So probably off the back of the DOW stuff, they're announcing a new effort to confront the most significant challenges that powerful AI will pose to our societies. It'll draw on research to provide information to other researchers and the public, just about like powerful quote unquote.
Do they deploy money at all? Is this like a PAC plus an education arm, or is this?
I thought it did. I think it's just
public policy team.
Yeah. So
it's like
I don't know if they announced funding.
New.
I thought,
Brookings,
but
new. That should have been the title.
I think the important thing here is that we predict that there will be far more dramatic progress with in the next 2 years. That's kind of like a very obvious statement to make, but the fact that they're probably like, yeah, well, we think there will be like, a lot of job displacement in the next 2 years is kind of what they're hinting at. I think that's what they're gonna.
Dario's been beating the drum on that for a while. He's been trying to get out and say that.
But also, this is a moat. Yeah, it's a moat. I was gonna say, like, Dario being like a year ago saying like, oh, coding will be kind of optional. I saw some people kind of dunking on him, but I was like, he was kind of right on that. Like when people were like, oh, like people I know still code. And I'm like, I'm looking at the industry. I'm like, he was not that far off. That there will be most code written by AI, and then it will continue going from there. I'm like,
right. And he was saying like, oh yeah, well, when a year ago he said in a year 90%, whatever his crazy number was of code will be written by agents or whatever it was. Like, yeah, it didn't mean that there was no human involved. It didn't mean
correct.
Always on fully autonomous agents. It just meant that people aren't going into the IDE and writing every line of code.
Yep. So
that's where we're at.
Yeah, and that is certainly where we're at. So, hey, he has a lot of interesting predictions. The whole like, oh, it's 10 to 15% chance of consciousness is dubious. Well, but there is quite a few
this like
things
spiral, right? Like, so not only are you using AI to write the code, but now people are pushing so much code that you're going to have to use AI to assess the code being written. And now you're assessing the code being written. And you're assessing so much that you have to summarize it to different audiences. You're like, the answer to AI is always use more AI, and that's this like takeoff feeling of just the way to solve this problem seems to always land in burn more tokens, right?
Yeah.
That's a problem for another stream. I mean, it's something we talk about after. Now we'll skim through these last few.
Has this announcement not happened like 3 times already? I feel like I've seen Gemini announce like it now for real works in Workspace. We promise.
That's
look,
why
I work at Microsoft, so I get we have the same sin, but like I feel like periodically it just keeps saying like, no, for real, guys. This time it works.
Yeah. And like what they were showing was like, oh, there's like, you can pick sources and you can create new docs from scratch based on just information that you have. Then it was like match doc format is, I get why it's a suggestion, but it's such a strange suggestion that people would be like, I get it's supposed to be like, oh, we're trying to win templates, right? Like, okay, I get it. But
it makes sense in enterprise, right? They're like, our specs must be written this specific way.
Yeah. Like, whereas like, this way. If you're like a university student writing like homework V2 final, like, I don't think you have like documents to copy. You're like, please help me. And then it was at something about refine your writing. This is what, again, Apple did that, right? When they're like, oh, you can highlight and use Siri to like rewrite your shit. I was like, who's using
Yeah, but the
that?
funny thing, it wasn't Siri, it was ChatGPT.
It's ChatGPT.
Now
And then
it'll
they
be
just did
Gemini.
the same. But anyway, I was like, this is gonna state like the fact that Google keeps announcing this and there's no like big structural changes from what I've seen. It's really just all the same stuff. It's kind of floundering to me. Like we're talking about like the OpenAI Anthropic being ahead. These feel all like kind of like little incremental changes, and then like Anthropic and ChatGPT, OpenAI, sorry, are making like big step changes, right? They're like, yo, like we can fully do this like in the span of a chat, or even like the stuff we were showing with like, Lovable and stuff like that.
All
like
these people have read the innovator's dilemma, right? Because we were just seeing it play out again and again, which is, hey, it turns out it's harder to get the internal fiefdoms of very large ships to coordinate than it is to just rebuild the world from the ground up, which is what the labs are doing, right?
Yep. And then running through the last, talking about lab, plan mode is now available on Juno CLI. This is a announcement. I'm like, finally, but like kind of innovator's dilemma. It's just like, it was kind of what Claude Code and GitHub CLI were doing for a long time. And now they're catching up just now. Plan, shift, tab, like literally what has been happened, everything's kind of moving towards the same kind of meta. They found things that work and they're just kind of like bringing it through. So interesting that they're just playing catch up, and even the whack and stuff like that. Like it's all looking the same. But
whack means slash, by the way. That's very MS
it's code. It's a Microsoftism. Yeah.
And then Runway characters.
Wait, before we move on to Runway characters, Dewey said in chat, it's funny watching ex-coders flounder about AI slop as if code slop or slop code didn't exist before AI. Dylan, thoughts? I know you've seen a lot of slop code.
How do you feel about copy and pasted code from Stack Overflow? Because that was the original.
Actually, not.
No, that wasn't slop. Because you're going to the top rated answer. That's the opposite of slop.
It's the opposite of slop. It was actually good. I was like, damn, like if I see like like I would know, because I'm like, there's no way you did that in one line. Like, what is it? Like some like obscure thing. I'm like, I just know. It's like
in the middle of your research paper, you suddenly made a profound argument. You're like,
Yep. So anyway, there has always been code slop. That's so true. Yeah. So I don't think that necessarily changes. And even with code review, it's like we're always so busy anyway. So like we barely code review properly. What does it matter if like AI is looking at it? But I think there is a thing of like from a compliance perspective, you want humans to have eyes on it. So it's a big open debate right now. Now, Runway characters. This just sounds like a recipe for disaster.
This is another
from
like,
an RAI
they had announced this before.
Yeah, so this is a real-time video agent API to build fully custom conversational characters. The way it works is you define your character with a single reference image, and then you can customize and configure the experience. And you can deploy.
This will go great in the next election.
Wait, guys.
Yep. And then so anyway, people are like, oh, like let's type. What if it could be more of a whatever? So then these are all the conversations. Like, it shows that it can be like animated and stuff like that as well. Yeah, so it seems like you can make a coherent character that like they're saying this is an API for like, oh, like do it on a video game, or this is like, oh, it's a plant-based app.
Yeah, it's just like the VTuber V next. Yeah.
That's what it seems like. So that could actually be good.
We should all be VTubers in one of the next live streams. Show up.
Yeah. And then BBC apparently was sorry, I realized this one. BBC was apparently using it live. Which is kind of insane.
That looks insane.
Like, wait, it like starts talking. So it's just like sitting there, and then they ask it a question, and then I think they kind of dramatically pause while it's waiting, and now it's responding. And then for RAI, they put live AI avatar.
It was fairly clear that was an AI avatar. I didn't look at that and go, yeah, that's real.
I guess the thing is, like, they could have just made this like fully realistic and
right. They definitely made that choice.
They definitely made that choice to be like, oh, we're gonna make sure they know it's not a real person. But that's what I worry about, as you said, for like the next election and stuff like that. This stuff is getting so cheap, so easy to make.
And I could go on. I mean, the slight rant on the game stuff is like, you can do this. Like they had the whole little avatar could talk there. The problem is like we haven't figured out how to monetize a game that has continuous cost
Yeah.
Because like a multiplayer game has continuous cost, and you do that via battle passes, but it is not the same order of magnitude as burning tokens for live voice transcription or burning tokens for live video gen. That is a much more expensive service layer for your game. And token costs fall 10x a year, I know, so maybe it's just a question of wait out the market, but it's very hard to imagine how you do these live NPCs. I love it. I would love to have live NPCs in the game, but boy, is the cost high. Even my little 2D pixel characters, you're talking like $5 every few minutes.
Yeah. Wait, so before we move on, I'm going to steal screen for a second because we were talking about Stack Overflow and we were talking about the takeover of AI in software development.
Yeah. And honestly, I think you can just take over and we can like, these last things are uninteresting. We're already at like 6:30 as well. So I need to drop soon and then we can just go build from here. Like I think the last
So this is the Google Trends for Stack Overflow. And I mean, this tells quite a story.
Yeah. It does. I mean, I remember this doing the rounds before, but like, I mean, the problem is like, well, actually to Jacob's point, like it's no longer about like data, like it already skimmed all the data and now it can just like iteratively improve on that. Like it can still write more good code. Because everyone was like panicking about like, there's not going to be any other code to learn from. But is that really such a problem? Like,
probably. And you know what's funny on this whole chart here? Like, obviously you can see the impact of AI since 2020 broadly. I mean, this is interesting, right? It's like early on, this might have been the first like AI wave, and then people were like, "Oh shit, we gotta like use it again." And then now it's just like down to near all-time low. My biggest question is Stack Overflow launched in 2008, so this little blip here was the launch, or I guess maybe early talk about it. I don't know, but I'm really curious, like what happened at population scale that made like
it was
because Stack Overflow is a class of
problem
error basically
exception,
and so it's like what in 2005 was like causing enough Stack Overflows that it shows up on this chart after Stack Overflow became a branded term. I'm so fascinated.
It's just a Google interview question or something.
No, but that's too small. I think it had to be like somebody like some big open source project or an OS or something.
Well, was that the fail whale era of Twitter where they were like constantly having these overflow problems?
Who knows?
Anyway, boys, it's great chatting. I do have to drop. I think we've got some exciting stuff to build coming up.
They do it.
Jacob.
The wheels are coming off now.
The wheels are coming off. Okay, well, enjoy. Thank you so much. I'll catch you guys later.
Yeah, have a great weekend. Yep.
Alrighty, Chris. So what are we building?
What are we building? I'm not sure. We didn't have a big model release this week, so it's not a lot to test there. I've been curious to pull up some Anthropic interactive charts. Do we have a sub for that? Let's see.
So the Anthropic interactive charts. Yeah, you can check that out. I was trying to get it to work in ChatGPT and I could not get that to go.
We could take inspiration from the chat. What do people want to see built? We got I got 11 friends here.
I'll try once more on the what's it called, on the OpenAI charts and see if I can get that to work. Do you remember seeing what they were demoing on the?
I have something that you guys can build. Writing prompt. Yes, Patel, explain that a little bit. Like just a prompt to. You have a writing prompt for us? Like bring that on. Be great.
Yeah, sorry, we just kind of died here. Dylan was driving there and just left. So I think overall, Chris, was there anything else like news-wise you wanted to talk about while we try to like mess around with this?
We covered a little Replit action. I think Dylan was going to show the tweet where Elon was playing out the sort of Optimus macro hard story.
Yeah, that one's interesting.
And that's a very like, the robot wave is coming. We're not there yet, but certainly scaling laws will apply there. You're going to hear a lot more about robots, and I would normally say a few years, but the timelines are so fast. It will be. Ooh, Dewey has interactive skyscraper thing you can walk through. FPS instructions
like
be
that.
As detailed as possible, so you can go floor to floor. Something different from the planet prompt. Yeah, okay. A little interior design challenge. That sounds 5-4able.
Yeah, and I think like just because for speed here, I'm gonna go back to single HTML file.
Ooh.
Because it'll take like 15 minutes to set up the project, right?
Like think real hard.
It'll think real hard, and we'll have to. So let's see what it can do in a single HTML file for this. All right. I'll pull up my screen here. All right, let's make sure. Okay, extended thinking. We're on 5.4. I just created interactive skyscraper that you can walk through in first person. Be as detailed as possible. You can go floor to floor. Fully realized and decorated interiors. Then we've got our usual V1 prompt of just giving it something to go off of with a single HTML file and our 3 imports. And let's let it run.
So what's the other like Devi focused announcement we didn't cover is Gemini embedding too. So being able to embed video, voice memo, PDF, image, text, all in the same space.
Yeah, we can talk about that while we're waiting here. Oh, this is actually perfect. It's going to give us two responses, right?
Oh yeah, there you go.
Although the left one doesn't seem to be going. But yeah, Gemini. So the Gemini embedding 2, the idea is that it's like multimodal embedding model, so you can embed. I think it's audio, video, text, images. I think that's the set of things, all in one embedding space.
I dropped it to you in the Discord if you want to pull up they have an article on X.
Yeah. I will do that.
Only up to 120 seconds of video, though. That is not a lot of video.
Right, but you can chunk. I mean, chunking with these embedding models is fairly normal.
Do we ask, did you see Anthropic made Opus 4.6 million context window as the default now? I did not see that. It makes sense because isn't 5.4 a million? So this was just a parity.
Yeah. Point. And Gemini's been that for a while, right?
Yes. I remember Google had the fake context window. Or sorry, Meta had the fake context window.
Google did as well.
It's a million that it really couldn't reason over it.
Yeah, and then Google had one where it like could reason better, but it was like, it cost different if you were using the larger context window. Mm-hmm. So it was like, all right, what are you doing behind the scenes that's incurring more cost? Like the per token pricing was different, right? It wasn't just like, oh, you're paying for more tokens.
Oh, they removed the extra cost of it, though, he said.
Oh, good.
That's intriguing.
Good to see.
You want to zoom on this a little bit?
Oh,
yeah. A big monitor. Living in the future over here.
I guess I'll have to. Yeah, it was Command Plus, right? There we go. Okay. Yeah, so Gemini embedding 2 is the natively multimodal embedding model. So text, images, videos, audio, and they say documents. Directly embed documents or directly embed PDFs, which is sort of interesting. I wonder what they mean by that. Like, is it pulling out the images and text, or is it actually embedding like PDF direct? I don't know if it's worth treating PDF as its own modality. I would imagine they're using.
I do simply because PDFs are very hard to parse. So like historically, it's been very hard to dump a bunch of PDFs at it and have it really get it all. And there's a whole esoteric thread on this, which I guess is that I'm talking out of left field here, but it's that PDFs were created as a representation layer. So the way everything's stored and organized is very hard to parse because it's all these like directions and special characters for how things are laid out on the page that make it very confusing. So you end up with like your two, like they had this problem with research papers where the two columns that is very common in a research paper was hard to parse. It would just read it left to right. And it would just go across the two columns. But as humans, we would know to read it left to right in the first column, then left to right in the next column.
Yeah. So for embedding here, they compare it to other their past embedding model and other options. Of course, claiming state-of-the-art performance across all these different modalities and benchmarks. I don't know how much there is to say about this without doing it myself, like trying it myself. But embeddings are an interesting thing. It's like I'm not exactly sure how many people are using. Like I've heard conflicting things about how much people are using like vector search and stuff like that. I've had my own issues implementing in vector search and like having a hard time finding it like pulls up sort of maybe similar, like there's a certain similarity that it's able to capture better than just strict parameter search. But then often I found falling back on like parameter search or having the LLM generate a search query can be better. So it'll be interesting to see where this gets used.
We got a few more comments in the chat. Yes, Patel dropped us some cool generative, dark themed generative graphics playground. 280 pixel control panel left, live canvas right, canvas 2D 60 frames per second, formula opacity. So gave a formula for it. So doing some graphics playground as the generation. That's fun. See what it generates. See where we go. We did this a long time ago. Not this specific prompt, but this sort of slider for effects that we could get it to come up with. I like that because I'm curious what it picks. Like, what is it?
Do you want me to run that one in the background while it's...
Yeah, sure.
Cool.
Burning tokens. And then you had a second part to that prompt, so you just try to grab from the chat, but...
I will.
The perks of the live stream, you get to burn our tokens.
Yeah, or well, you get to burn it. Yeah, OpenAI's tokens on our behalf. Yeah.
Yeah. There you go. Nice.
Cool. Okay, and then we have the interactive skyscraper back. So let's. Oh,
whoa, sweet. All right.
Whoa. All right. Okay, I'm not loving that the cursor is like lagging a little bit, but we'll see what happens here.
Is it running two instances at the same time?
No.
We are getting blown out. It is getting so bright
out. It's very bright. And then okay, but look, I mean, it's very stylized. I like what it did here. Let me look up so we can see how big the building is. Okay, I don't know if that's a skyscraper. Okay, let's see. Yeah, the biggest problem is that movement doesn't work, unfortunately.
And then I just can't even see the floor because it's so bright.
Because it's so bright, right? But it did put. I like that it put some art on the wall, in the lobby. That's good, even if it's just like colored rectangles. And then it does seem like there's some form of an elevator shaft in the middle.
Come join the live stream to stare into the sun.
Yeah. I think the biggest problem here is the lights. I'm gonna see if I just like run this in Chrome, will it be any better? Oh God, it's making my whole computer lag. Okay, we're gonna have to kill that for now.
I mean, a quick aside is if you're gonna make a game where you have AI agents running around, be very careful how you define the tick of that game, like when the AI is reasoned again, because some of us, might be me, decided to try this demo or try this prototype out and set the tick to a half second, so 500 milliseconds, and burned, I think, 2 million tokens in a few minutes. This is how I get my plaque.
Okay, we have the creative graphics playground now. So
that was quick.
Yeah. I'll go back and give some quick feedback on this one first. Oh.
Did it go away?
Uh-huh.
Wow. All right, well, give it feedback and just see how it collapses. But
I do want to see if... Oops. It's also all still lagging. I wonder... Oh, it's because I have this one running over here. That's why. Okay. No. Oh. Every time I go back, I see something different here. Okay.
What in the...
Interesting decision.
All right, Dewey, you win. That is quite the outcome. We are in the sign place.
We're in the
signs
sign.
exist.
Yeah, this is fascinating.
How did it get to this?
The collaboration floor, the executive level. Oh man, this is funny.
Use stairs or find a lot. What stairs? Is there a sign that says stairs?
Yeah, that's a good question. Yeah, I'm stuck. I'm stuck in the sign place, as Chris put it.
That's wild.
Do we want to?
That was not the best result.
Do we want to give a follow up on one of these?
Oh, was the other one the one we already saw?
Yeah, the other one was better. It just couldn't
the
move around. Oh,
we got him, boys. That knows planets, has no clue about buildings. Yeah, apparently.
Yeah, buildings can be a bit tough. Okay, let's see if we do.
We need a complete lighting pass because it's insanely bright. We should ask it to give us some NPCs running around. We got a new version. They're already testing. They're testing something because they gave us a split view. So whatever tweak they're doing, I don't know if it's a new model per se or if it's just a modification of 5.4, but they're A/B testing us somehow. You guys ever have one of those when it's really good? That one gets me excited when I'm like, oh, wow, there is such a delta. Usually it's just a slight tweak or it's like a conversation pattern thing where it broke it up. Like I had the reasoning one before. If you use ChatGPT now, instead of just like thinking, it starts dropping paragraphs of text in between steps. I liked that one. That was cool.
Okay. I'm gonna switch screen share over to Chrome just so that it's less like I don't know why I was in Safari. Cool. Okie doke. Let's see what we got here.
Oh, this is sorry. This is the
visualization. Yeah. Oh, this is cool though.
This is rad.
Shoot. So this is the grid blocks version.
Okay.
Let me see what happens if I switch version. Actually, first I'll play with some of these primes. Amplitude. Okay. Kind of figured. Frequency. Yep.
There you go.
Phase. Yeah. What is raw offset? Oh, interesting.
Row offset. Yeah.
Row offset. Guess I can make it vertical. Yeah. Okay.
This is sweet.
And then this seed does what? Nothing. Speed.
Does randomize work? Yeah, there you go.
I like what it did with like the little gradients and yeah.
Yep.
Oh, this is data bands. This is a different one now.
It shifted to a new variant.
Yeah. Okay, let's run through some of the variants. Triangle grid. Oh,
that's nice. That's very Deus Ex.
Yeah. Helio circles. Whoa.
Oh, sweet.
This all has like very like movie sci-fi UI feel, you know?
I just want this on my Apple TV when I play music because it blows my mind that like the old school Xbox, I think it was the first Xbox, had a music visualizer and nobody is like by default Apple TV didn't ship this.
Yeah, that is interesting.
You're just stuck with the Spotify like big bleed background. It's boring as all hell to look at.
Fluid grid.
Okay, a little wavy.
Oh, flow dashes, which I guess is like a flow field or wave dashes.
Seed is where it randomizes the patterns. Doesn't look very predictive. Yeah, it should impact. Seed should have a big impact, but it
Yeah, but these aren't really random. They seem like somewhat deterministic. So
Yeah.
I'm not sure what seed would be affecting. Maybe some of them are more random. Oh, then flow field is different than wave dashes. Yeah. Ooh, that's a real flow field. There we go.
Now we're talking.
This is actually quite impressive that it did this all in one shot.
Yeah, it was quick too. This was a quick comeback.
Yeah, good for them.
This is 5-4, right?
Yeah.
This is awesome.
I like the flow field one.
Can we have it be affected by music? That's like the follow on.
Well, what music?
I don't know. We'll just generate something on Suno. Pull it down.
Alrighty. Can you go to Suno? Do that part. Yeah. Actually, I don't know if it really. Okay. I will
find a free sound library too.
Cool. All right, I will now check on our skyscraper. It's still working on V2 of our skyscraper. Any suggestions in chat for what? Oh, sorry, yeah, any suggestions in chat for what we should be doing in terms of the type of song? We can also check and see if there are any other. Oh, pixel scatter. We haven't seen that one yet. Oh, look at that.
Ooh.
There's something stylistically very nice about how it did everything here. It all looks pretty good. And at the end of the day, it's just like, it's just like a sine wave going, in the background. Yeah.
Sorry, I have to do a sign up flow to even preview music.
Waveform bars. Hey. Ooh, noise lines. These are all very nice. Did we do fluid grid? Oh yeah, we did do fluid grid. It's very similar to grid blocks. Just they change, I guess, a little bit on fluid grid.
Holy cow, I haven't used this in a minute. The interface has a lot going on.
yeah. Suno's they've been shipping. Okay, cool. So we almost have a response.
Well, it looks like all right, I said electronic music created by an AI for meditation in the Tron universe.
Perfect. And then while that is generating, we can pull up the next version of our tower.
Neon breath protocol. Ooh, look at that. Finally some lighting that's sane.
Yeah, it is still kind of laggy. Look at your NPCs. Okay, there's some furniture.
Little sunken couch aesthetic going on.
Yeah. I guess this is like the welcome desk. I'm really hoping I can go to another floor. Uh-oh. It says use Q and E. Okay, I'm ascending. Oh, interesting. Okay, so it placed it had some issues. It was putting the furniture in the ground.
The chairs are facing weird directions.
This one is this is pretty detailed. Got an office floor. Oh, this one's got a screen. That's like a boardroom of some sort. Conference room. Sorry, this is covering my. Oh wait, this says the executive floor. The NPCs aren't moving, unfortunately. penthouse. Is there gonna be like a bed or something? What do they mean by penthouse? You know? This kind of looks like a kitchen island sort of situation. Oh, there's our bed. Yeah. Oh, this is funny. Okay. Not bad. Not bad. I'll zoom out a little bit so we can see what it looks like from a distance. Oh. Apparently that's not an option. I'm stuck within the confines of the building, it seems.
Oh.
What happened?
You want MP3 or Wave? I guess
MP3.
you need MP3.
Yeah.
Trying to give you aggressive ones and slow ones.
Yeah, I do think Dewey says that the building is like seems like fun for iteration. I do agree. I think you could push it pretty far, especially with like making it more detailed on the inside, and give it some feedback on like the little issues it has with the like furniture placement. It looks like it's like aligning the center of the furniture items with the floor. But if you could get it to actually place the feet on the floor, it would be better. Like if I'm looking from this angle, it looks a little bit more coherent. It always has this issue with rotations. Like rotations are so hard for these models. Like you can see the chairs are all facing away from the desks. It's kind of funny.
All right, I got at least a calm one for you. I tried to do a more aggressive Tron song, and it went a little too hard rock on me.
Alrighty, I'm gonna have to reshare to get audio in. Where are you dropping the?
Yeah, I'll just add it to Discord.
Cool.
Yeah, unfortunately, when you sign up for Suno, it asks what genre of music you listen to, and I gave it like 5, so it just started spitballing between like rock and hip hop and EDM, and it's just a mess.
Yeah.
It generates lyrics now. That's surprising.
All right, I'm getting this pulled up. Y'all give me 1 sec.
So we gave it a prompt to accept music now?
You say, yeah.
Sweet.
Getting a little distracted here. Okay, so I need to pull up. Okay, first I can get this shared with audio.
We're on the same page as Dewey.
Green, include audio.
Can you attach the visuals, some kind of audio? Yep, that's the plan. We'll see how we did.
Let me grab the generative art situation. Cool. Okay. Copying, pasting. And then I got to grab the audio file. Choosing the file and Neon Breath Protocol.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, chat. We're going to do some deep breathing. It's going to be very meditative.
All righty. Uh-oh. Well,
it seems like it found it.
It found it, but then when I press play, nothing happens.
Oh, that's exciting.
Oh, there's a syntax error. Okay, let's see if we can get it to fix this. Cool.
It shouldn't be hard to create a music by GPT based on wave functions of the artifact we created.
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
So you're talking about like having it natively create its music. The web audio API stuff can be kind of cool, actually. It's gotten much better at like making music natively. Like actually composing it, right? writing code that generates music. Okay, then we have, I believe,
the skyscraper redux.
Still going. Although I never gave feedback to the last skyscraper, so we can make it full skyscraper.
Do you think the skyscraper prompt might be better for something like GPT 5.4 Pro rather than extra high?
It could be. It could be. I don't know if we have time for that, but I'm running it in Vibe Worlds just to see what happens.
Oh, nice.
Also 5.4, so we can kind of compare.
You have 5.4 in Vibe, I suppose, yeah. That's awesome.
Okay, and then we get a response here. Okay, we got a response for the. Okay, I'm encouraged by the fact that we can see the controls again and the visualization. Now, if we play,
oh, there we go. Doesn't seem to be affecting. Oh.
No, I did that switch. Oh,
there we go. We got life.
All right, this is kind of fun.
This is awesome. Good recommendation, Yaspatel. We're all getting hypnotized now.
Yeah. Also, props to Suno for getting significantly better.
Yeah.
It's been awesome to see them improve over time.
That's a space I'm surprised that none of the major labs have even fought. Like, you'd expect Gemini, or you'd expect Google especially to go after it. That's a little...
This one's a little jittery.
Yeah.
I guess they're all kind of...
My toddler has just learned to shake their head, and this is what they do.
Okay. I was
Sweet.
getting too hypnotized there.
Jacob went to a whole other place.
Yeah. Okay, let's see. The other we can do. Okay. It's Vibe Worlds is going crazy on this. The thinking time on 5.4, like 5.4 thinks way longer than like 5.2
Yeah.
or 5.1 or anything like that. Like high thinking does not mean the same thing it used to mean.
Yes, Patel wants to know, what did you guys add to make the sound work? Did you just prompt it to support an audio file? And then I think there was an error and you said, fix it.
Yeah, we just told it. I mean, maybe I'll give it some feedback. I'll just like tell it was a little jittery, see what it does.
Also, we have Strength 9621. Welcome to the chat. Hey guys, I'm way behind in the convo, but I can definitely see companies adding token usage as KPIs in the early reviews. For sure. For sure. I don't know how they'll quantify it, but you're going to see AI usage as a way workers are assessed in companies. Absolutely. Also interviews, like if you're interviewing a new company, you know, a lot of questions on how you use AI and expecting you to show demos and process. So I'm kind of happy for the idea of bespoke portfolios is over. Demos are in. Here for it. Portfolio sites always felt a little art project-y to me.
Portfolio site?
Yeah. On design, you had to like make these really fancy portfolio sites, and I just was like, can I show you my work? Here's what it is.
No, you need to make it like the OS from Her or something. I've seen.
Oh yeah, you got to. Well, you had to tell a whole story before. When custom agents first came out, I thought about making my portfolio site just me typing at a computer, like a VO loop, and then you could chat with my avatar about what I did.
Okay, by the way, Vibe World is still thinking.
We're gonna end the stream before this thing finishes thinking. We got 15 minutes. We can pull it off.
Considering rotation settings, it said examining faction relationships, which I'm like, wait, what factions are there in the office building?
For those just joining, we have a prompt from one of our awesome reoccurring guests in the chat, Dewey, to make a skyscraper. So instead of our normal planet gen having a skyscraper with internals, and boy, has it struggled a little bit. Like we finally got some good stuff in the last generation, but the first few we're not there. So we're curious what it does. We're on like what, turn 3 on this?
On which one? The visualizer or the skyscraper?
Yeah.
Well, skyscraper, the foundation I don't think was good enough in the one we were doing in chat. So I could give it feedback if people have feedback they want. But it was still pretty laggy because it was like, I'm pretty sure it was the lights. But you know, 3 does not handle many lights well. It doesn't have deferred rendering. It, you know, like Unreal is the king of lights. And they do incredible things with lights. But yeah, 3JS native light support is not so good. So when it's trying to do like a multi-floor building and then add realistic amounts of lights in the office building, it starts to really tax the computer. So I was running it in, for those who don't know, like I shipped this like world generation experiment called Vibe Worlds, vibeworlds.ai, vibeworlds.ai if you want to check it out. And so I ran the same prompt that we ran on the same model. So it's still GPT 5.4 generating it. But instead of doing it in the chat client, I'm generating it in my sort of 3D world generation harness. And it has now finally moved on to actually generating the world. That whole time, the last like 10 minutes, it's been thinking basically. It's kind of incredible. I really hope it doesn't time out, because I was setting like timeout for like the cloud jobs, like based on old models that were not thinking nearly as long as this. It's adding a lobby sculpture now. I mean, it's like really digging in. We don't have a full response yet for the feedback we gave on the audio visualizer, which was it was like pretty open-ended feedback just to make it like less jittery and better. It seemed like it was like, it was mostly changing the visualization with the percussion. And so I was hoping that it would like kind of try to like get the highs and lows and mids and everything fully integrated into the visualization. So we'll see what it is going to do. I think Helio Circles is one of the last ones. So yeah,
it knows we're not impressed. It's stepping up.
Yeah.
Wasn't that a Google CEO that said threatening the models made them work better?
Oh, they do. I remember
Jacob's like, that's someone who runs.
No, for sure. And I mean, I remember, I'm not going to like dox anybody or say, I don't know, but I saw production code at a large tech company where in the prompt it said, I will lose my job unless this is correctly formatted JSON. And that was like a year and a half ago.
I had for a long time a problem with getting ChatGPT to generate documents for me. I'm like, I just want a markdown file. And it's like, sure, here it is. It would open Canvas in the chat. Like, no, I want a downloadable markdown file. And finally, I think we've solved this. We're past that era. Okay. Is this the jitter free?
This is the jitter free. And it has this like bass, mid, high energy, but I don't know if they're inputs that you can.
Oh, it's assessing it.
Oh no, that's just a little mini visualizer, it looks like. Okay, what happens if I go to like
I'm curious, if you go to like data bars, does it just still do the jittery? Oh yeah. Woo, it didn't get better. Oh.
Yeah, it's still
quite jittery.
And that was me controlling it, by the way. Yeah, it's still. Yeah, the song is tough though, because it does have like, it's like hi-hats or whatever. What happens if I go to waveform bars? Okay. It's a little more of a classic visualizer.
I don't know if I can handle it jittering faster than this.
Okay, turning down speed seems to... Wait, oh, that was seed. It's quite jittery. Ah! Whoa. Sorry about that.
Flashing lights warning for the channel. Please consult your doctor if you do not feel well after watching this for too long. All right, give us a pause on this before my eyes freak out. There we go. And we're back to the calm.
Yeah, we're back to calm.
Oh, man.
Yeah. For some reason, the circle, even though it's just moving as quick, it's like got the same values that are influencing it. It just like wasn't quite as overwhelming.
Yeah.
Helio circles. This is the one that looks like, all right, like, you know, in like sci-fi, like cheap sci-fi movie, it's like, all right, scan eye, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
Access.
Or if it was coming at you, that'd be like you're going through the wormhole.
Yeah.
The Stargate.
I've been watching Stargate lately.
Heck yeah.
Oh, dude. We have 10 minutes. Should we run the Stargate prompt again?
Well, it's going to take 10 minutes to generate. Have we just established this with the...
Well, no. That... I don't know. I'm still hoping Vibe Worlds finishes. It does seem to be kind of stuck on the roof shell. But, no, it was going quicker in client. It was Vibe Worlds that was going crazy.
Okay. All right.
Because I have a lot of, like, stuff going on to push it to, like, work real hard. You know.
Skyscraper still being built, yeah, still cranking away.
Okay, I'm gonna have it do it. Okay, make a star 8. Okay, so I'm asking for a Stargate-inspired game with procedural 3D environments, a full gameplay loop. I'm asking for like animated entities, loot, whole thing here.
This will be our new Talking Heads background, the spiraling view.
And switch. Cool. All right, our Stargate game prompt is off. Hoping for the best there.
Oh, we can flip over to Vibe World, see how that generation's going. And I guess we can play one. We'll play a different Vibe World.
Yeah, we could.
While it's generating. So for folks new to the chat, this is Jacob's very own company. He runs a company called Vibe Worlds, vibeworlds.ai. And you can think about it as a agentic harness for 3D scene generation, right? So whether you're doing a game or a visualization of any sort, you want to pitch it?
Yeah, I present Vibe Worlds as like an experiment. Also, it's just hanging on this. Like, I don't. There's not much to see on the current. I'm worried it timed out basically. But yeah. So like Vibe Worlds is just like a world generation experiment. You can type a prompt, you get a world, and then explore it in 3D. And it's got all the tools it needs. Like as Chris was mentioning, the harness, it's got all the tools it needs to make like simple games, but sort of optimized to like work with the current generation of models.
Is any product designer position available?
You're gonna have to fight Chris on that one.
I don't know. It's hard to unseat me salary wise. So if you're willing to
work for free? Like, I mean, no.
Well, you pull me from the big ship. You got that salary requirement's high. So
right, but for this to work, we need big VC money. So
that's true. But if you are interested in this world and just want to chat with me,
reach out to me for sure.
Absolutely.
My DMs on Twitter are open at Branch, BRAUNCH, at Branch on Twitter.
And
love to talk
at
to
the end of the stream too.
Yes, it will show at the end of the stream. Yeah, I do want to see if this like broke. I was excited. Like, it was working real hard. I mean, it claims it didn't say it timed out.
Well, let's switch over to Vibe Worlds and we can see an existing world generated. Well, it's thinking, or is the whole thing just froze?
No. It's like the existing worlds are like not the most interesting though. But yeah, we can.
I see.
Also, I'm just gonna give Vibe Worlds the same Stargate prompt and see what happens.
It's a race. For those who have not been regular viewers of the stream, we actually ran a Stargate themed prompt and got a surprisingly good world. Was that out of 5.3? 5.3, I think, had a really good Stargate world with sound effects.
Yeah, was it 5.3? Yeah, that was good.
That's pre 5.4, I'm pretty sure. So we're hoping to repeat our success here. Game generated live in front of you all.
Yeah, to be fair, that one that we did was like we gave it a lot, right? We gave it all. It was codex, so it was like building a full repo. Yeah, but it ended up being pretty awesome. But we can like, I think it's. Do you remember which stream it was that did that?
Like it's 2 or 3 ago.
I loved it had a little like fun Stargate animation for warping.
Little sound effect going on.
Yeah.
One of these streams, we're going to pitch a game and it's just going to pop out like indie level quality.
Like cozy game. We're like not that far from it being able to do cozy game.
Yeah. We're in the cozy game orbit for sure. But oh my God, there are so many posts on just random cozy games or little niche indie games. They're like, you can clean an NES cartridge as a game, or help the kitty find its cat box. Like it's just all these games are all over Twitter.
Oh my God, we got a response on the skyscraper.
All right, it's time. The moment you've all been waiting for.
All right, give me 1 second to get this going here.
Ooh, we have stairs. Functional stairs.
Okay, so let's start outside.
Real stairs. Oh, this looks good, actually.
All right.
This is getting real.
Got some benches.
They're not sunk into the floor.
Got the arrival fountain.
There's not a lot of office space in the skyscraper, but it's an
well, hey, we haven't got upstairs yet.
Everything here is public for you to walk through today. Feel free to explore floor by floor, including the server level.
They're letting us right into the server level?
Not great. Not great on security practices in the
yeah. The lobby sculpture.
The skylift.
What's the skylift?
I'm going to freak out a little bit if there is a legitimate elevator that works. Oh, it just teleports. All right, fine.
Okay, we're in the co-work studio.
There you go. Okay.
Oh,
what is this? Like a
idle animation.
Arms. Okay. Security seems questionable here.
The tower mixes open workspace with lounges, meeting rooms, and quiet corners. The higher you climb, the quieter it gets. Okay, it's interesting that it put the skylift in the office space, you know.
Efficiency.
Right.
Can't have you walking around. You got to go right to your desk.
Hey, props to Vibe Worlds. It got the chairs pointed the right way. We don't need to pay attention to these things though.
Okay, we got a little presentation room. It's a low viewing angle for the presentation. We're big on neck injuries.
Yeah, there's no insurance in this office building. The working stairs I'm actually pretty happy about. Although
you have to take the skylifts to experience this place. Oh, okay. We moved up in the world.
So
we have an executive smoking a cigarette. I don't know what's happening there.
The top offices trades density for views. The master key card stays near the main desk when no meetings are in progress. The master key card. I'm just gonna fly for a sec here. Okay, it's like a coffee table.
And this is a legitimately tall building. I gave him credit.
Coffee mug? Oh, but the coffee mug doesn't have gravity.
Oh.
Okay, I kind of did like a similar thing on that. Okay, that's an art wall.
Oh, it's art. All right. What is this?
Yeah, I mean, it's art. It's art.
They're having a bad day. Just
listen. I took some classes in the art school. This is supposed to be, what is it, like they say 60 inches eye to center or something, like 60 inches. What is it? It's like there's some saying for it, or how you're supposed to hang it.
How many levels we got to this thing?
The wellness deck. Wait.
Oh, those yoga mats?
Where?
We have yoga. I mean, the perks are coming up in this company.
I'm impressed you noticed the yoga mats. What does this guy say? Yeah, same thing. Low intensity lounge, stretching area, benches, hydration counter, and a softer material palette. Okay, the counter is in the stairwell.
As it should be.
Server operations shell. Oh, look. Server rack, of course. Can I steal the weights? It keeps going. Sky Lounge?
I get why this generation took a while. Got some comments in the chat. I'm digging the NPC dialogue so far. It thought out some characters. I like it. It does have these moments. Vibe Worlds does this where people will have these little world views, and it's fun.
This level is built for skyline views. The tablet on the side table controls the digital guest book.
The thing with this is one shot go. Imagine considering this as a multi-agent work under Claude multiple. Yeah, there's definitely a question of can you get better scenes with a multi-agent flow. I'm curious what Jacob thinks of that. Do we had a similar comment? Have GPT 5.4 Pro kick it off, then have 5.4 extra high and Claude high iterate on it.
You definitely can. You definitely can. We have a version of that working. It's just like it blows up the amount of tokens required, right? So it's like thinking, looking at the world, working, thinking, and then the time. So you can definitely do that. I think we need to get.
Is this an open ceiling on the top floor? This is like the Sky Lounge.
Yeah, this is I like what it did here with this little like pergola.
Yeah.
Oh, the groundskeeper. Regarding crowns the tower. I love it. It uses this very like hospitality language.
Yeah.
It's the best place to understand how the whole building stacks below you. Right, listen, good for 5.4.
I'm not mad at it. It's great. That was a legitimately tall building too. I'm impressed.
Yeah, definitely taller than what we got last time. Okay, should we see if any of our Stargate games are
round it out with the Stargate prompt. Let's get weird at the end here.
Okie doke. I have to find it. Okay, it's such a long response in client that it's just like lagging the whole client. So give me a sec here. Like, chat. Do I have just like too many tabs open? What's going on?
Accepting donations for Jacob to get a faster computer.
Dude, the thing is, this is like a pretty. It is a MacBook Pro, and it is not the entry level MacBook Pro. It should be fine.
Curious how you guys use it at work versus daily life, and how other people use this in daily life. AI, like how to use AI at work versus personal. On the design side, we've moved a lot more towards prototyping. So the expectation when you do work is that you're going to create a prototype out of it. I tend to be a go right to the editor, cursor, Claude code, somewhere in there, and try to generate from within the code base. I find working in our code base and then kind of having my own branch where I can modify existing UI. If I'm doing that, if I'm working on our existing UI, like I work on the Planner team. So if I'm making some change to Planner, I would do it in our code base, or we use something called Storybook, where you kind of have this isolated corner of the code base where you can push pages that will never go out to a user, but someone else, like another dev, can pull it down and look at it. That's sort of the answer there. And then personally, I think very similar to some of Jacob's stuff, I have my hobby horse of like a few different projects I want the AI to be able to do eventually, and every few months I check in on that. I do a lot of deep research too. Just, hey, I'm interested in this topic, dig into it, give me a summary. I don't have a lot of like open claw stuff happening. That's not really my vibe right now. I don't have a need for it. But like today, I had to use it to help me figure out how to get air out of a radiant floor heat system. So like take a picture of your whole setup in your basement and then say, hey, how do I fix this? Because the power has been out for 2 days and you haven't had water going through you. It's great for that. So kind of daily stuff, plus a lot of research reports, plus some attempts to generate interactive storytelling. Folks who are long-term viewers of the channel are probably sick of that rant, but
tell us more about the radiant floor heat.
The radiant floor heat's the way to go, man. I love having floor heat.
Okay, so unfortunately, the paste HTML is the in-client version is broken here.
Okay.
See if there's an issue, but there's like many
issues.
I'm curious, even if we don't. Oh, this is just like totally bricked the.
Can't use this directly because you work on a mobile app. If you work on a mobile app and you're trying to make a prototype, depends on what you're using. So if you use Figma, for example, and your company has a license for it, you could try using Figma Make to make some prototypes to get your ideas across. If you want to use Claude Code or something, you could try to hook into the Figma MCP. There's some nuance with this. If you're an enterprise, it's like there's a way to do it securely so you're not leaking your designs to the world. I can work with main branch and set up Playground for myself as a designer.
But Figma Make
I wouldn't push it to be
right.
Yeah,
Figma Make just makes it like an app. It's like a code.
Yeah, the problem with Figma Make for your engineers is your code's useless. It's just sort of like a boilerplate React website.
Right. So in that case, you could just use any coding agent.
Right. So if you have access to the code base and you can branch, I would just branch and make your changes. If you're saying like, hey, I don't have the ability to build that, then I would probably try to somehow hook my component library or just use Figma to hook up a Figma MCP to Claude Code and build prototypes of the app and just have it run as a web app with an iPhone frame or something. Because your goal is not to make it production ready. Your goal is to communicate the feature and the interactions and the animations and whatever to your dev team. At least my experience. Your dev team might be Claude. Depends on the size of the company.
The Vibe World Stargate is still running. Oh wait, yeah, it is.
Is this the Paste HTML version now of the 5.4 response?
It should be, yeah.
But, okay, sweet. Does it work?
Wait. What are you looking at? No, this was the one that didn't work.
Okay. Yeah, of course. Feel free to ask any other questions. That's at least what I found. I have found working in the code base and branching to be nice because you already have all the components, you have the typography, you have everything right. With Figma Make, you kind of have to recreate the whole app, or at least the pages you want, which can be very hard and time consuming. And you end up sort of triaging that more than you end up making the new UI. But
right. And in that case, then you might as well, like, that's the real paradox with Figma Make is like, if you could do it in Figma, then you have your Figma version of your components.
Right.
If you use it with any other coding agent on the direct product, like in the repo, right? Then you have like the live version of the components. And then if you do Figma Make, you've got this like weird middle ground.
Yeah, and your devs don't get anything out of the code because the code's not using your internal components and it's not pointing in the right direction.
Is there a way to point Figma Make at a repo, or no? Is it just like actually useless?
I should not answer definitively on that. I don't know. Because I'm just a go right to the code base guy. And I was trying to convince some coworkers of this because a lot of designers haven't spent any time in IDEs before, so they get a little nervous about them. But it's effectively the same thing. You're doing the same thing as Figma Make, right? You are typing in plain English to a coding agent. A hot tip there is use the Claude Code plugin instead of the terminal because you can paste screenshots much easier. It's much easier to paste screenshots into the plugin. So then you can like take a picture of what it rendered and say, hey, this doesn't look right. It's supposed to look like this, and paste a different screenshot. Much easier than in the terminal. Terminal has a much harder time handling screenshots, and I do a lot of screenshot pasting.
Okay, Chris, we got
moving on. We got exciting Stargate stuff. Let's go.
Okay, so this is the Vibe World rendition of Stargate. Ares Gate 5th address. Survey an alien desert base and recover Naquita cells from procedurally scattered ruins. Arm yourself. Caches, dial the ancient gate, and raid an off-world citadel for the final relic.
Rad.
Okay. A survey skiff.
Like you do.
Okay. I don't want to be on this yet. There's a mission console. Recover 3 Naquita cells. The relay shrine scattered across the basin. Arm yourself with caches. Blah, blah, blah. I was kind of hoping it would start me in the SGC.
Ooh, there you go.
Sidearm. Okay. I have to say 5.4 is doing a good. This is like, it's not the first prompts I've run with 5.4 and Vibe Worlds, but it's a. Oh shoot!
Whoa!
Okay, it screwed up the rotation on the gate a little bit. Oh wait.
Oh, it teleported you. You're in a new.
Am I somewhere else? Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that is an enemy. Can't really fight. Wait, what does it say it is? I'm curious. Gate Warden.
Who drops a
data shard. So, oh, that's a sentinel. For some reason, they're not attacking me. We might have not given them any
this
way
is the peaceful mode. We'll put it on
yeah,
dad mode, as I call it in video games, when I turn it on easy because I don't have time to replay levels a lot.
The sentinel drones are fun. It's making everything a bit more detailed than older models. What happens if I go back to the gate and dial? Okay, so there's like two areas, I guess. Oh, it's like over there.
There's whole worlds out there. Yeah.
Let me get that skiff again.
Yeah.
Zoom around a little bit. It's unfortunate that it's screwed up with the enemies because it's just, I guess it's just dad mode. It knew.
It knew. Dewey in the chat says it's kind of funny how the UI design isn't actually all that bad for 3JS and games. However, when you ask it to design a website, it falls apart. Yeah. It's definitely getting better. I suspect a lot of the UI design is going to come as computer use. Because right now people use like Playwright and they try to get it to review its own work. But I suspect just out of the box, you're going to get really solid computer use out of these models soon. And that means it'll pull up the website, click around, see if the button states work, try things. When it can sort of QA itself, I think you'll get a lot better.
Definitely. And honestly, is it like, it's funny for me, like when people are always like, it's worse at UI. But then like the standards are just different, right? Like it's giving you UI that works and it's giving you code that works, but often the code sucks, but it's not visible. And often the UI sucks, but it is visible.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
We're visual creatures, man. We're going to see it.
Oh yeah, but if you actually like go and look in the code, it's like it might be just as shitty as the shitty UI, but it works, right?
Right. Well, that's because it's got that better loop for like, well, it compiled and it passed all my tests.
Yeah, but even on like the first shot, right? Like it's just like shitty, like because it's not. Yeah, it's often that the UI looks bad, but the UI does work, right?
Right. Yeah,
like the user job is accomplished, but it's not maybe accomplished well.
Well, but even when you give it a UI, you're like, look exactly like this. It struggles to go back and forth and get it exactly there.
Yeah, I've seen some.
You can do it. It takes some doing.
It takes some back and forth, and then sometimes it'll like screw up one thing. It'll like fix something and screw up another thing.
Yep.
Which is where it would be really good to have that self-validation loop. All right, let's see if we got a. Okay, we do have another response from the, from just like raw client on the Stargate game.
Okay, it's probably the last test on my end. I gotta.
Yeah, that's fair. This is the big moment of truth here.
See it.
Okay. Once again, it's going to take me a quick sec to get this going. Okay, well, it loaded something in 3D, so that's a good sign. Okay.
Ooh.
Click to deploy.
Okay.
Whoa.
A little weapon shake. Look at that.
Okay. I've never seen that before in all of our props. I've never seen anything like that.
Well, these guys are coming at you. This is pretty sick.
Oh, shoot.
We're definitely in like the floppy disk era of games. Remember Maze Runner and some of those really old school games?
Okay. Oh. Ah. What is that freak?
You got your stats: weapon, energy, shield, health. Collect 3 glyph cores. Is that a glyph core? That looks fancy.
Yeah, unfortunately, I can't get up to the glyph core. Like, a lot of these are getting dropped in the sky, and then I can't. I have to, like, get on a hill and then, Yeah.
Launch yourself at it.
What is this? Is this a ruin?
Looks like it was supposed to be a ruin.
Yeah, it's just like an amalgamation of... All right, maybe this is a glyph core?
We can hope. Yep, that was a glyph core.
I mean, look, it's like putting together something.
Yeah. It's always got the look of, if you ever watch like developer behind the scenes, it's always got a look of like level blockouts.
Yeah.
Like you ever go look like Uncharted 2's development process, their first levels are always like the character running along these big white rectangles.
I just want to get to the next.
Let's see what happens when you get the last core here. And I probably got to dip. I'm gonna get some family time.
Oh, the other glyph core's over there. Will that power the gate? Is that the idea?
Hopefully.
I was impressed at 5.4's ability to like get the in the Vibe Worlds version, there was like a little, what do they call it?
Okay.
The dial, the DHD in Stargate.
Approach the ring and press E to begin the breach event.
The breach event?
Yeah. Yes.
Activate the gate.
Chat, we've gone from circa 1995 to roughly, whoa. Oh, yeah, you had an event.
Oh, shoot. There's waves. Wait. Yeah. Survive 20 seconds. Wave 2. Oh, this is clever. Oh my God.
Sick.
Yeah,
oh my God. Wave defense.
And this is, I'm actually super impressed by this because like, I feel like this is a thing in the show is like, they're often like having to like fend off, while they're getting the gate going.
Thanks, Yes Patel, for coming. Appreciate you, man. Oh, have a great weekend.
We made it. Oh, get me out.
Nice.
Did I do it or did I die?
I think it obliterated all the enemies when you went through the...
All right. Well, this has been fun.
Thanks, everybody, for tuning in.
Yeah, thanks for tuning in. Let us know what you guys want to see in future videos and future lives from us. We go live every Friday, 2:30 Pacific, 5:30 Eastern. And we love doing these live builds and talking about AI news and always open to feedback. So thanks for coming, everybody.
Yeah, thanks, everybody. Have a great weekend.
We will see you all soon.